One of the things that we recognized was that there's so many people who are new to strong towns. There's so many people who are finding us, even some people who have been here a while, who have questions about what is this organization? What do you all do? And I think more importantly, what can I do to be part of this movement, bring it to my city, make my place stronger? We are all about taking bottom up action. And so we created this. It's kind of 1 hour. It won't take us that long to get through our stuff, and then we can answer any questions anybody has. This 1 hour conversation once a month to share some kind of basic, here's who Strong Towns is, here's what we do, and then be able to chat about how we make your place into help you be a hero in your place and become a strong town. I'm going to share my screen, and Chris will, I'll be part. I'll do the first half of this, and Chris will take the second half. Um, Bring strong towns to your community. How do you take the next step? This is me in our 2024 Strongest Town of the Year, Mommy, Strongest Town of the Year winner, Mommy, earlier this year when I did an event, and I'll talk about what that means. Strong Towns, we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We're an advocacy organization, and we primarily use media to grow and support a movement for bottom-up change. Strongtown started as a blog. I started writing a blog back in 2008, and things grew from there. Today, we use media across a broad spectrum to communicate a message for change. Our mission is to make America's pattern of development financially strong and resilient. We're focused on the way we build our cities, and our motivation is we want them to be financially strong and resilient. We find that productive development patterns that are financially strong, are also lead generally overall to greater prosperity, greater, a bunch of metrics line up really well with building our cities in a way that is financially strong and resilient. There's three primary things we do, or three things we primarily do. This comes directly from our strategic plan, which you can get on our website by clicking on About. It's right there. The 13 programs that we have fit in these three buckets. The first, create content to inform and inspire. We do 2-3 articles every weekday. We've got 3 different podcast streams. We do a lot of video work. We're on every social media platform that really matters. We're out there sharing stuff as much as we can, creating content, trying to both inform people about the Strong Towns approach, Strong Towns method, our analysis, and then inspiring a movement for change, inspiring people to take action. The second thing we do then, the second programmatic bucket, is build support for change across North America. So this is helping build the systems, build the conversations, create the platforms to support the change in our cities and our towns and our neighborhoods in a strong towns direction. And then the third is to help people take action directly in their community, to help stand people up, to help them identify where they can make progress, and to kind of walk with them and help them along the way as they go about doing that. When we talk about the Strong Towns movement and we talk about our communication strategy, we have 3 core audiences. So as a media organization, we think in terms of audience. Who are we targeting with this message? Who are we hoping will go out and do something with it? Those 3 buckets, public officials, technical staff, concerned citizens. If you're wondering where things fall in terms of a percentage, public officials is about 20% of our audience. Technical staff is about another 20% of our audience. So between the two of them, about 40%. And then 60% are people that identify as concerned citizens, people who care about the direction of their place, people who care about their community, people who want their place to be better, but are not necessarily either in government or doing this day to day in a professional capacity. When we talk about what we do and how we do it, it's important to recognize that our role is not to be the hero of the story. If you interact with our content, if you read our articles or listen to our podcasts or tune into our videos or pick us up in other places, you will take note of the idea that we're not here to be the hero. You are the hero. We serve as the guide. So we are trying to help guide local heroes, people who are interested in making their community stronger, help guide them along that journey, help them realize and actualize the aspirations that they have. We do this, as I said, through content, thought leadership. These are 3 books that we've worked with Wiley Publishing to have published. The first one's Strong Towns, A Bottom-Up Revolution, about the development pattern of cities and financial productivity. Second one, Confessions of a Recovering Engineer, all about transportation. And then the one that came out in April of this year, Escaping the Housing Trap, is all about housing. These are really great kind of umbrella type of publications that capture a lot of stuff in a format that is very accessible and easy to share. Our articles, our podcasts, our just like regular video content reaches millions of people, and millions of people every year. Our micro content is reaching millions of people every week. So, you know, the big stuff, the stuff we see people interacting with, the stuff where people go deep. Our audience is a couple million people a year reading that stuff. We have thousands of members around North America. This number 5,300 as of May. I didn't update it for this month because we just had our member drive and I don't know the exact count, but I know we're up close to 5,500 at this point. You can see the geographic distribution across the US. Strong Towns is not a big city movement. It's not a small town movement. It's not a East Coast or a West Coast movement or a Midwestern movement, North, South, any of that. It is really everywhere. We see our members in every community of every type, red state, blue state, everything in between. And this is just the North America. There's, branching out conversations all over the world. Speaking of conversations, one of our programs that has really taken off over the last really 18 months has been our local conversations program. We had people who were meeting in our name in different communities across the country. We decided to organize those efforts and assist them. Today we have over 210. Again, I updated that number in May. I know it's a little bit higher now. I'm not sure how much higher, but over 210 local conversations, groups in communities across North America that are meeting regularly, working to put Strong Towns ideas to work in their community, and thousands of local leaders. I just put some photos of these people in because they're doing amazing, amazing work. We see people getting together, pushing things forward, pushing the conversation in their community, and doing just incredible, incredible work wherever we have people coming together. This stuff is starting to, I say this stuff, our efforts, our programs, our approach, we're seeing significant results from all this effort. Whether it is shifting the conversation in the community through an event, through some type of engagement that we do where we go and we share information, watching those communities transform immediately, but also in the months and years after that as a result of kind of having different ideas presented, seeing things in a bit of a different direction. Whether it is taking the next step and implementing some of these things at City Hall to understand where your levels of financial productivity are, how you can invest in a community in a way that creates really good return on investment, good financial productivity, put your city on a path to becoming financially strong and resilient. It is sometimes manifests in things like this, where we acknowledge our liabilities, where we look at the amount of roads that we built. This was in Lake County, California, where we worked with them for over a year to look at things like what they were spending on roads and how much this was costing them, not just today, but in terms of long-term liabilities and helping them reckon with that and switch course. Our crash analysis studio is another way that we engage communities to help them create streets that are safer and more productive. We help them analyze their crashes, the places where they've had serious injuries, traumatic injuries, or even fatalities, and using that uh, tragedy as a device to have a larger conversation about safety and productivity and how we can fix our streets. I'm going to show you here now some of the reporting that we've done or some of the articles we've shared on communities that have made changes. Here in Oklahoma, Norman, working to update their parking mandates, actually made a lot of progress when they were able to step back and instead of revamping their entire code, change just one word. They changed actually required to recommended. And essentially by doing that, we're able to get a quorum or a majority of the council to agree on that shift and made their parking recommendations not required, but recommended. That allowed them to, in a sense, go away. In Florida, where we have seen the pre-approved building plans be able to lower barriers. So when developers come in, they can kind of speed through the permitting process. This was something that we were working on in Groveland in Central Florida to help them where they have a huge housing shortfall, a huge housing crisis, get through that process a little bit quicker and easier. And so with those examples, with that understanding of kind of broadly what we do and some of the impact that it's had, I'm going to have Chris come in and talk a little bit about what each of you can do to put your community on the path to becoming a strong town. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, thanks for that great intro, Truck, and thank you guys all for being here with us today. We really appreciate it. We know how valuable your time is. So any opportunity for us to spend a little bit with you, we're always thankful and appreciative of. So that begs the question, you might be interested, you might be thinking about it, you might have interacted with Strong Towns content before, and this webinar was saying, hey, what can we do? What can you guys take, explicitly, what can you do to put your community on the path to becoming a strong town? So that's what we're going to talk about. So the first step is becoming a member. We just wrapped up our member drive week. We'd still love to have you though. I know Norm and the team over there have some really exciting stuff, but we think this is kind of the first place, the first step in supporting the movement, taking that next action. And it's the place where you start to get access to a little more of the Strong Towns resources. You start seeing everything we have to offer. And then you get to interact with our movement building team, who we think is a really, really special part of the community. And we've seen the impact that they've had on the communities that we've worked with. The next step in that after becoming a member is joining a local conversation. Chuck alluded to this. We've got hundreds already out there and, upwards of 2,000 in the works. These are communities all over North America where people have become members, went through our local conversations training. Several of them went through our leaders training. And they started a local conversation. This is helping with that grassroots, that ground up, that bottom up, that next incremental step. Finding that next simplest thing you can do for your community and building the movement. We see people from all kinds of different walks, from all kinds of different places, coming together to try and make their community more resilient. And so, again, we'll get you connected with all these resources after the call as well. We'll make sure to get this all out to you with links and introductions and all that. But we think that local conversations is the next best step for a lot of folks. Then after that, after you join your local conversation, we also have our Strong Towns Academy. You'll see it some places also as the Strong Towns Library. This is some of our best resources, many of them free, some of them paid. Would be happy if there's one you see that you're especially interested in that's behind the paywall. We'd be happy to get you a code to get that one for free. So I'll make sure to reach out with that information. Please feel free to follow up with me via email afterwards. I will get you my contact information. But this is kind of that next step up from, hey, I'm really interested. I've read the articles. I might have went to a local conversations meetup. What's the next thing I can do? I want to find out more. And we get everything from Strong Towns 101 to, the example here is 4 quick zoning code reforms for Strong Town. We've got all kinds of really, really exciting stuff from incremental development and zoning reform and ending highway expansion and some of our core campaigns. The next step up from that is coaching. And this is where we take kind of the expertise that we have that we've kind of democratized in the Strong Towns Library and the Academy and bring it into real life. This could be in person, this could be remote. You get to sit and talk with experts like Edward Erfurt and Chuck Marone, who's here on the call with us today, and really pick their brains. We bring in outside experts to help with some, specific areas. We think that that's a really exciting opportunity. We normally see this levied with communities or sometimes regional groups. There's even been nonprofits or foundations that have brought us in for coaching. We're really explicit. This is not consulting. We're not going to sit down and help you guys rewrite zoning policy or land use reform, but we are going to come alongside you and kind of a train the trainers mentality, where we're not going to write anything down or write any new laws for you, but we're going to come alongside and help you guys rethink and help you review or revisit how you guys are looking at the world and the community around you. The next one that I think is really special, is hosting an event. This is a way we often can introduce Strong Towns concepts to a broader community. A lot of times it's easier to get somebody to come to an event in town than it is to send them a YouTube video or try and get them to go to a coaching. Oftentimes I say that these turn into Strong Towns pep rallies, where we're coming in, we're invigorating the community, we're equipping you guys to go do the next big thing. And the reverberations can be felt long after event has been over. I know we were recently in a community in Louisiana where people were coming up and talking to me about when they had seen Chuck in 2016 and 2017 and all these years later, and the impact that that's had on their community. This isn't just a great way to get energized. Oftentimes, what we find is that there's people in the community, whether they're technical experts or just regular, hero citizens like yourselves, or people on the professional side as well, who have often felt the tension that we talk about a lot here at Strong Towns, and just never had the words to verbalize it. And so one of the things that I think is so neat when Chuck and the rest of our events crew come to town is giving people a new vernacular, giving people a new way to talk about those problems that we're all facing. Next, after that, we have our community workshops. This is kind of one step up from our normal public-facing events. This is where we go one extra step deeper, where we might have a big public-facing event, but then we've got a workshop group, sometimes of technical experts, sometimes of concerned citizens, sometimes of a really good mix. And we get in the room and we really talk through the problems, and we bring our expertise and our knowledge to bear to help you guys rethink all the problems you're facing in your community. Oftentimes they're topic based, and the goal here is to try and supercharge that next thing you guys are doing, to help you guys think through your problems in a new way. And then kind of one step farther from that, from a workshop or an introductory lecture, is our community transformation clinics. This is where we go from just kind of unpacking one idea or one topic based problem into a multi-day series of workshops that we're going to be able to touch on different issues across the budget, across the community, across your thinking on the leadership team and the implementation team, and then on the citizen side. We think this is a really, really unique opportunity. This doesn't work for all communities, but if your community is ready to take that next step, we think we here at Strong Towns have a really, really compelling offering that can help you guys get from 0 to 100 a lot faster. One of our capstone offerings is our Community Action Lab. This is a multi-year engagement for communities that are ready to become a strong town. And this is kind of the whole gamut of all of our coaching and all of our training, all of our teaching, and then all of our legacy educational content. This is how you get the best, most unfettered access to our technical leadership staff, and then all our senior technical partners, and then all the training resources we have, not just Chuck's great books, but all the really, really smart, not always necessarily just the thought leadership stuff, but some of the really, really great technical expertise and knowledge stuff. And Chuck talked about this earlier. This is where we get really down into the nitty gritty with our communities, and we help them figure out. We come alongside them and help them figure out what's that next thing they can do. Right? We're not moving from we're not theoretical anymore. We're moving into really, really specific tactical implementation steps that you can take in your community to help address some of the concerns you guys are facing. And then we just wrapped one up, and we're getting really excited to talk about the next ones we're planning for this year. Next year is our national and regional gatherings. This is where we take a traditional conference setting, what you're familiar with. It's a little more fun, I promise. There's a lot more. I was going to say there's a lot more fun in games, but there's not a ton of fun in games. But there's a lot of fun. We think it's a really, really great time. We know it's a great opportunity for us to get together, to coalesce, for the kind of movement to get in one room. And so if you guys think you might be interested in attending, we'll get you that information too as it becomes available. But if you think, your community would be ready to host one of our gatherings, I'd love to talk to you about those opportunities too. We're always looking for the next city, the next opportunity to come alongside, to partner with, to share the mission and the message. So, if you do want to discuss next steps, I am going to be following up with all of you after this call. But here's my information. Feel free to screen grab or copy and paste, and we'll make sure to follow up the email. If you have any questions about next steps or opportunities for your community, or there's somebody in town you'd like me to sit down and talk with, we're always eager and excited to talk to heroes such as yourselves out there doing the good work. So thank you guys for taking a minute to listen to me, and Chuck, thank you for the opportunity to share all the great work we're doing.